Everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. I have with me Robert. Merry Christmas, McCall. This is our holiday theme episode.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
What is going on? We had our Christmas party last night. It was an amazing time. Had a really fun time hanging out with people we work with. That's one of the cool things about working here at Dynamic Disc is that I can honestly say I enjoy hanging out with people I work with, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just cool. You know, people we have, I don't know, it's just really cool. You can sit down and it's not super awkward or whatever. You're trying to figure out what to say. You can actually talk and have fun.
You just bro out with the bros, you know?
We had, we had 18 mini baskets set up.
9 mini baskets.
How was it 18 hole? Oh, they had different placements for the tees?
No. They just played 9, and then it was the people who shot 18 and 17, they got like a hole in one on one and then 2s on all the other ones.
Oh,
it was a 9-hole course.
All right. Well, we had some baskets out there.
Yes.
Had some, I forgot it again, cornhole. Had some karaoke and pool and table tennis and stuff like that. So it was a good time.
It's fantastic.
Really good time.
Yeah. Barbecue from Bobby D's. Come on.
Oh, that was good. Good stuff. I just had my meat, sauce, and coleslaw. Meat. All right. So this is officially going to be, is it the last one?
This is the last one of the year. 100%. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, because next week
we're gone.
Actual Christmas Day.
Yep. We will be shooting an episode just in different.
And then we'll be gone January 1st.
Yep. So we might have to do one on the 2nd or something.
Yeah. Because
Are you back in town?
Yes, I'll be back. I'll be in town on January 2nd, but I leave January 5th.
And then you're gone for how long?
And then gone to the 12th.
Whoa.
So for that 1 week, boom.
Dude.
What's wrong?
Nothing. It's just a long time. That's cool. I'm excited for you.
Vacation, yeah.
Yeah.
Get to go. It's going to be my birthday, my dad's birthday. I'm going to be in Panama visiting my folks.
Nice. That's awesome.
So yeah, and then I'll be vlogging while I'm there.
Yeah.
YouTube.com.
Is that what the kids call it?
Uncle Bobby Jr. Check it out. Yes, that's what cool kids call it. All right, so let's just hop into some questions. What do you say?
Let's do it. Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Yes. Season's greetings. Guys, remember you can go to discgolfanswerman.com, submit your disc golf question. We will get it on the air. This one is from Cole. What's up, Bobby? Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, Eric Emat. Oh, where is Eric? Eric is out on assignment.
No, I think they're just.
Did you say that already?
No, we haven't.
Oh, are they on their Christmas vacation?
I think they're already gone.
Okay, they're on
Christmas,
their holidays. Yeah. So enjoy your holidays, Eric.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Eric. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. I'm going to keep it going. I'm sorry.
Season greetings. Robert Thousand-ish McCaw.
Okay, first of all, shut up.
This was back in September, so
I'd already told him to shut up. I can't take it back.
Hope all is well. Who do you think is the next great disc golfer? I'll say within the next 5 years to make it interesting and maybe get some young bucks shout outs. Is Eagle going to be the man? Maybe Ricky will be just unbeatable by then. What's your thoughts on the near future of the touring pros? Also, anybody we need to enjoy watching now before they go to Masters? Thanks, guys. Take care.
Sweet. Who do we think is going to be the best disc golfer in the next 5 years? It's really hard to say. I think we're in an interesting spot in the disc golf landscape where, Macbeth is moving over to Discraft.
When this
and everyone's curious. Yeah,
this wasn't at that time. None of this was happening.
That hadn't been. Well, it was obviously happening, but it hadn't been announced or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I think that's probably the big story is going to be how is he going to do with new discs? Because I assume Ricky will end up throwing discs that he's thrown before. I don't know that to be 100% fact, but that's an assumption. And a lot of the people who are changing sponsors are going to be throwing discs that they're familiar with. And so I think the big question is, is Macbeth going to find his dominant form like he has in, like 16, 15 Macbeth was just unbelievable. Sorry. And then like 16, 17 Ricky were pretty darn good too. And so I think those guys are still 1 and 2 as far as players go, but there's some really, really talented players coming up. No doubt that you could argue that Eagle is going to be a force in disc golf in the next few years. Kevin Jones is a great player, but then I honestly think we're going to have somebody come up here in the next 2 to 3, 4 years who is going to be challenging those guys a lot more frequently.
You think?
And we saw a little bit more parity in the men's field this year. We saw James Conrad take a couple of big wins off of those guys. we saw, just more winners at the top instead of just those two guys. So I'm excited to see how it shakes out, to tell you the truth. I think, DD Latitude and Westside have some really good players who we could see break out. I don't want to say just one of them that I think could do it, because I think they're all poised to do quite well, but we'll see. I'm excited.
I mean, there's some new names out there that I've been doing this for a while, but not that long. But there's some new names you start seeing popping up, like your Grady Shoes, your Kevin Jones, your Calvin Heimberg. It would be cool and it would be interesting, and I'm sure it would make a great storyline to see one of those guys start hitting some top 5 finishers at some of the bigger events, especially at the beginning. That would be kind of cool, because man, that way that they could. It would seem like they're coming on strong.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of like this year. Simon won the Memorial early on. And then Eagle won the next tournament right after. No, he won Vegas, and then Simon won the Memorial. But yeah, it was just cool to see, a couple of guys who very, very good players, obviously, but just didn't have a bunch of big wins at that time. Kind of pop off. A couple of guys who the board is saying here, Chris Dickerson, 100% agree. Chris is so good. He's robotic and methodical and really precise. He's a really good player. We got Yuli broke out this year. He's very, very good. No doubt about that. I like Yuli very. And then Zach says, when is that Isaiah kid going pro? I think Isaiah Esquivel is who he's talking about, the junior world champion here in Emporia. I think he'll probably go pro here in the next year or so. And dude,
remember, he's only 14 now.
I think he's 13 right this second, which is unbelievable. He is so very good. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do the next few years.
I wonder how that'll shake out, because he's so young, so good, so young. A lot of life happens. I just hope he sticks with it and stuff like that.
I do too. He's on it right now. He's putting a lot, and he can already throw. He's a great thrower.
Next one is from Daniel. Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. My question revolves around the concept of Hyzer flip, and how it differs from throwing a driver flat. I've heard that Hyzer flips shots are good in the woods. So does one throw the Hyzer flip to avoid any sort of turn from a standard long distance driver shot? Is it true that Hyzer flips get more distance? What situation calls for a Hyzer flip and what situations don't? How important it is to learn this shot? Thanks for everything you do, and keep it real. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Season's greetings. How important is it to learn the Hyzer flip shot? I'd say relatively important. There are some players who are really, really good at just flat shots that go straight and finish flat. And that's awesome. But most people aren't. They find it a little bit more natural angle to throw a little bit of Hyzer on the disc and throw something that isn't so very overstable that it can stand up to flat and fly. As to whether Hyzer flips will go farther, yes, in theory. The idea behind a Hyzer flip being able to go farther than a flat shot or even a forced anhyzer is that it's easier to start. I'm sure Danny would correct me on this if he was sitting here, but I think it's a little bit easier to start a Hyzer flip with the nose neutral to nose down so that it can get the fullest extent of the flight. Instead of something like an anhyzer, it's really hard to throw an anhyzer, pure anhyzer and nose down and get it to do what you want to. So
are you saying Danny would disagree?
I don't know if he would disagree. Oh. I think that's correct, but here I am. I'm just guessing. I think it's a pretty important shot to learn. I know people like to throw them in the woods because you don't have to throw them quite as hard to achieve a straight line. That's why I like throwing them in the woods.
I apologize.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Season's greetings. I apologize for the yawning, everybody.
Ooh, here's a couple. Tim says, Zach Arling, house good, young one too. No doubt. Zach is so good. Don't tell him that, though. You don't want him to get a big head. And then Emerson Keith is great. I agree, Zach. Emerson, I think, is poised to have a really big year. I know he's going to travel some more this year.
Next one comes from Zach from Michigan. When putting, I always use a power fan grip for any distance up to 70 feet. But my question is, what grip do you use for putting outside 70 feet or driving off the tee box? Thank you. Keep up the great work for my 3-hour car rides.
How many 3-hour car rides you got? Is that a lot? That doesn't seem super fun.
No.
You're going to do something?
I'm going to, for the YouTube people, I'll be right back. For our audio listeners, I probably just could have not said anything and we would have been kosher. So.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I'd be interested in what a power fan grip is. I'm not sure I know exactly what that is, but I would assume you're talking like getting getting almost all of your fingers all the way underneath the rim. So outside of that, he asked, what grip do you use for putting outside 70 feet or driving off the tee box? And for me, that's pretty similar. I put the kind of the first knuckle of my index finger where the bead would be, hold that in place when I'm putting. And then if I'm throwing, I'm going to tuck my fingers in just a little bit, but they're kind of still fanned out. Let me see what's the best angle to see that. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that these fingers are headed toward the rim, but they're not tucked all the way against it. Kind of like that. They still have some control in the flight plate. That's kind of what I do when I'm throwing. When I'm putting, I'll just loosen that up just a little bit so that I still have control over the flight plate, but my fingers aren't like all the way fanned out like that or something. Just, kind of something like that.
This one's
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Season greetings. This one's from Scott. This year I had my first trilogy challenge at a local city park course, which is closely surrounded by homes. I was very clear to tell the participants not to enter into any private property to retrieve lost discs, as this has been a problem before. After the tournament, I found out that many people ignored this and retrieved their discs anyway. Due to repeated offenses, this course has now been closed. It seems very common in the culture of disc golf. Can we stop it?
Okay. Super good question. The problem is, Scott, that you're not asking just about disc golfers. You're asking about people. And the problem is some people are idiots. And it doesn't matter how much you tell them what to do or what not to do. If you say, don't go in somebody's yard, and then they go in somebody's yard, a natural consequence of that is that the course is going to get closed down. It sucks. But sometimes people suck and do dumb things. So there it is.
All right. So here's a follow-up.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Season's greetings. Follow-up from Scott. After running my trilogy challenge this summer, I ended up with a little bit of profit that I was planning on using to make the tournament larger next year. Due to the circumstances out of my control, the course is now closed. Now I don't have a place to hold the tournament or even to use the money to upgrade the course. What should I do with the money? Am I obligated to find somewhere else to use it, since that's what I told the participants I was going to use it for? It's
kind of personal.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to make your own choice. You got to figure out, maybe there's a course nearby that you can, maybe you're not running it, but since you said you're going to use that money to do some tournament stuff, you could maybe use it for that tournament or something. Maybe have it as like added cash to a tournament or something like that that's nearby.
I like that. I would say to put it back into disc golf, especially if you told the people at the tournament you were going to do that. That's very good. Yeah.
All right. So
Merry Christmas.
Next one for
Happy holidays.
Season's greetings. This one's from Brandon. Disc Golf Answerman crew, our local disc golf club here in Atchison, Kansas City, 2 hours northeast of Emporia, just put in baskets at Earhart disc golf course for an 18-hole course.
Nice.
I have a few questions about the tee pads. We plan to pour white and blue tee pads this fall with a rough wire finish.
Okay.
Is 5 by 12 feet pad good option for a course that runs between 4,500 to 55,550 feet whites, 6,500 to 7,600 feet blue, and 7,600 to 3,300 golds? Would you take the gold pads to 15 feet in length?
I am not an expert on tee pads.
I wonder if we should wait for Eric.
But I will say,
okay.
Just as I
don't know why I did it like
this is a new thing where you just talk. Yeah. I will say the longer the tee pads, the better. But maybe I'm totally off on this, but I think 12 feet is kind of a fine length for a tee pad. I mean, I guess I would have to step it off, but that seems okay.
Step off. I'm doing the hump.
See, karaoke, the people's champ. I think if you're worried about it, and you can measure out 12 feet and being a disc golfer and saying like, oh, wow, that's really not that long, then yeah, go to 15 feet. I think that's a good call. It sounds like it could be really cool with the multicolored tee pads.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep. Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Season's greetings. Brandon has another. We'll go on. Let's go on to Brandon. How many questions you got?
Thomas says 12 feet is not long enough for James Conrad. Yeah. 40 feet is not long enough for James Conrad. The dude's stride is like 5 feet by itself. Okay. So let's stop using James as the standard for tee pads. Okay. We don't need runways. I'm just kidding. I love James. I'm just messing with him.
Jared asks, hello, EMAC, RMAC, and B-Bro.
What's up?
Makes sense.
That's you, man.
I know, but that's
you get to be
cool.
B-Bro.
I'm B-Bro.
Sometimes we call Ballista Pros that.
Bro.
B-bro.
Bro.
It's kind of like B-boys. You know, they all have B-boy whatever names. You could be B-boy, B-bro. Oh, my gosh.
At GBO this year, we had to pick a tee-off song, and I thought it would be funny and choose Real American by Rick Derringer.
Yes.
Hulk Hogan's theme song. But when it played, no one really got it. To top it off, I had a player from Canada and one from Europe on my card. Needless to say, I just threw and didn't look back. Was just wondering if you guys have a go-to tee-off song. Thanks for all you do. See you at GBO next year.
Nice. Good question, Jared.
I have never played a GBO, so I don't have a tee-off song. But if I had a tee-off song that I would choose, it would probably be something from Coldplay.
Yeah. Shocker. I also have not played a GBO. I probably won't unless I'm not working here at some point, because every time we have them, I mean, we're on it, you know, we're doing
What song would you pick though?
Now I will say in response to your conundrum here, Jared, there's always a risk that you go for the funny song and then people are like, oh, this is weird. You know, like, come on, man. What a weird choice. But then you could do like, you know, Big Germ this last year picked All I Want for Christmas Is You. Hilarious because the GBO is in April. So that was really funny. I'd probably do, I never going to give you up. You know, the Rick Astley classic that people Rick roll people with. You know, I kind of like that song. So I'd probably do that. And you know that some people are going to laugh and then you're going to be like, sweet. I like this song. And then you throw Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Actually, Zach says you guys need to release the list of tee-off songs for the pros at GBO. I can't remember if it was last year, the year before, or what, but I know that Ultiworld actually created an article based on tee-off songs. So
nice.
You can check that out on Ultiworld or discgolf.ultiworld.com.
Yeah. By the way, it's your turn to say season's greetings.
Season's greetings.
Thanks.
Sam asks. Well, it gives an opinion, then he asks a question.
I like it. All right.
A rather opinionated opinion.
Sure.
You have an opinionated opinion?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we should probably say the disclaimer.
Oh, yeah. This one's going to have a disclaimer.
Nice. You can have an opinionated opinion.
Okay.
You cannot have, well, yeah, whatever.
So anyway, the views and statements made here on Disc Golf Fantasy are not necessarily those of the employees of Dynamic Disc, Westside Disc, or Latitude 64. They are simply our opinions. So Sam says,
we speak for Eric as well, by the way.
Yes, they are Eric's opinion. I was listening to the clip you played about the rules of wearing a vape shirt at a tournament, and you said it's fine as long as it is a polo and looks nice. My question is regarding Josh Anton. Nothing against him and his choice of clothing for tournaments. I have noticed he wears basketball shorts and T-shirts at a lot of top-tier tournaments. I personally think it looks unprofessional. He is obviously really good at disc golf, though. He is very good at disc golf.
Yeah, no doubt.
But Sam was curious what we think. So what do you think, Robert?
Okay. So I have met Josh before, but I haven't spent a whole lot of time with him. He's been super, super nice the times that we've talked. I would prefer if people dressed up a little bit more to play disc golf. But the thing is, that's not everybody's preference. So as long as you are following the rules of that the PDGA sets forward, and for A tiers, NTs, majors, and I think maybe it's just NTs and up. But the dress code for guys is a performance material shirt or a collared shirt. I think it's the way that they word it out. I'd have to look it up. But as long as that's what he's wearing, you can't tell the guy to change. You know, you can't really tell anybody to change.
As long as they're following the rules, even if it's the bare minimum of the rules, they're following the rules. You can't fault them for that. Now, I mean, I know maybe this is more extreme, but I mean, sure. Do you like that he wears basketball shorts? Would I prefer him to wear something different? As a media person, I would prefer that.
Yeah, sure.
But, you know, what if someone showed up and they had slacks on, a polo tucked in with a nice matching belt with shoes, but I didn't like the way the color coordinated. It's just it was
preference.
My preference.
As long as they're following the rules,
exactly.
which the way that I've seen him dress at NTs and majors, his shirts are always that performance material, like a dry fit or something. Yeah. I don't know if I'm sure there are rules like that in golf, but I don't know if it's just kind of an agreement, like this is how we're going to dress. I don't really know the answer to that. But anyway, as long as he's following the rules, he's good. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Yeah. Season's greetings. Darian, I recently joined a league for glow discs, and I need a disc that will fly similarly.
Yeah, good. Close.
Similarly.
Yeah, there it is.
To my Convict. I'd love to get my Convict in moonshine, but they don't sell it.
Nice. Okay. Well, first of all, when it's not glow season, Lucid X Convict, that's what you want to pick up. Slightly more overstable than a Convict. You are going to like it. If it's not that, then we have, I think probably the closest one we have would be Moonshine Culverin. I know that we make that in the Moonshine plastic. That's worth a shot. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Season's greetings. Uh-oh. I thought I went the wrong way. Here we go. This is Shay, still not Robert's wife.
She's going to write in a question one of these days.
One of these days. Just curious if you would mind making a plug for our tournament on November 23rd. No, I'm kidding. It's called Westside. Oh, well, it's already way gone. So
sorry, Shay.
It says in the place where you send a question, don't send questions that are time sensitive.
Yeah.
Don't do that because we're not going to be able to talk about it.
Sorry, Shay. We can move on to the next one then.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shay.
Hopefully had a good time at the West Side Story.
Sean in the chat says, rules for golf are slacks and collared shirts, no t-shirts or shorts. I guess I remember that because there's been kind of an issue made lately, these summer tournaments that they all have to wear pants and they get super sweaty and hot and it could be dangerous at some point for the amount that they sweat or whatever because they're just outside for 4 hours at a time or more. But yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. Yep, go ahead.
Next one is from Cody. He put 3 O's. Or do you think it's Cody?
I think it's Cody.
That's what I figured.
It turns to ooh at the end of the O's.
Emac, Robert, and Bobby. It was wrong word to emphasize. Cool Daddy Slick Breeze all talked during a podcast in the spring, early summer about doing an understable/overstable round where Bobby has to use overstable discs only, brand new Lucid X Felon, brand new Moonshine Justice, Lucid Slammer, all max weight, and Emac and Robert use all understable discs, run over a couple prime gavels, and the forklift a couple times. Let Ralph chew on 2 prime proofs and then 150 gram prime witnesses. My money is on Robert.
Oh, man. In the overstable, understable round, Bobby's at a distinct disadvantage because those discs straight up do not fly as far as an understable disc. I mean, you can, but like, how far can you really throw a Justice, even on an Annie?
God,
I can't throw mine like over probably 240, 250, full flex as hard as I can. Between Eric and I think it'd probably be pretty close. He does throw on a natural Hyzer, so he's good at throwing understable shots. Yeah, I think that would be fun to do. Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Season greetings. Josh says, so with all the junior discs coming out now and you guys have a basket for them, when will we see a mini bag or backpack? I have a 2-year-old who absolutely loves disc golf and my 5-year-old and 2-year-old nephews as well. They all have the mini discs. And I was just thinking, how awesome would it be to have a tiny go easy pack or something like that? I've never heard any plans of something like that.
We talked about it briefly once when we first started coming out with them, but we haven't moved forward with it too much just because
I didn't go to that meeting.
You weren't invited. Sorry. I think because it's a really, really niche product.
You're a niche.
That's fair. Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Greetings. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah,
next one is from Wassam.
Yeah, I doubt it's Wassam, but that's okay.
All right.
It's not Malachi. It's closer than that. I will always remember Malachi.
I think I've had people in my Instagram stories like say comments and say something about Malachi or something.
Yeah, crushed it, dude.
Will you guys come out with a series of discs with lights built in for night rounds?
Probably not.
No.
Westside, Yanni Pentola, who is the CEO of Westside for the longest time, he was working on Smart Disc, which had a chip in there that could tell you, release speed and spin rate and put out a sound for where your disc was. And nothing really ever came of that. And I think if we are unwilling to work on the technology that's that involved, then I think something as small as putting a light in, that's just kind of like the junior discs. I know a lot of people like glow golf and night golf, but it's still just a niche sort of market.
Yeah.
Be cool though. And I think our Moonshine discs are great for that. So do that.
All right, let's try this one speak pipe question that we got in. Oh, hold on. I'm going to turn the volume up. Yeah. That reminds me of the Seinfeld episode with the quiet talker.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you... And then Seinfeld ends up wearing a...
Hearing it?
A poet Pirates shirt or something like that.
Mm.
Anyway, here we go.
I like it.
Hey guys, my favorite driver from Dynamic Discs is the Sheriff. I have 2 of them in the Lucid plastic. Both of the ones that I have metal flakes inside of them.
Yeah.
I was wondering if this is just how it be, or if I've gotten lucky with ordering them.
No, that's how it be.
Thank you guys for your responses and making cool answers. Keep it real.
It be that way
Thanks, Jack.
all day.
Jack, do you pronounce your last name Schroeder? Is it German? I'm just curious. That's kind of just the way it be.
That's just the way it be.
Merry Christmas.
Is that it? Season's greetings.
Happy holidays.
Next one is from Austin. I'm currently talking to a local golf course that now only does foot golf. It would make a great disc golf course. I know they will want to look at it as a source of income. What are some pros, cautions, and costs to adding disc golf on a golf course? What are some good selling points for them? There are a lot of really successful examples out there. What are the keys to their success?
I wish Eric was here to help out with this one, but
yeah,
I do know that when you add disc golf to a golf course, or a foot golf course, I assume would fall into the same category, is that you can generate some additional income if you make it a pay-to-play course. You can also, if you were to set up a pro shop at the front of the foot golf course, you could drive some traffic in there. So I think there are a lot of benefits to doing that. I know that Eric would be able to come up with more off the top of his head, but just generating more traffic and interest in the area would be really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And according to a previous question, the neighbors can expect people to be trampling in their yards. And stuff
They
like
will
that.
definitely jump the fence and you'll get the course pulled. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Season's greetings. Next one comes from Sean. I hear all these questions about off season. Being in San Diego, we have no off season. Well, aren't you lucky?
Well, look at me.
Well, because we don't have seasons. Yeah.
We do.
Really, I guess the question is, when are you coming to the hometown of AJ Risley, beautiful sunny San Diego, to play around on our beautiful courses, plus all the golf courses that are now doing disc golf too?
Nice.
Would love to play around with y'all since I listen to you guys all the time. Let San Diego know.
Sean, we would be so interested in going to San Diego right now. More interested than you could even really imagine, because it sounds awesome.
Oh, that would be awesome.
However, we're well into the holiday season now, and our vacation times are dedicated to visiting family and taking trips and things like that. So it's not on the cards for this year, but I do know, I can say at least for myself, I would love to go there sometime when AJ's there, catch a few rounds, just probably beat him on some of his home courses because he's not really that good. So we'll see. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Season's greetings.
Oh, yeah. By the way, did you see AJ's ace?
Yes.
Super sick. Thank you for bringing it up, Tim. He,
that was awesome.
The sweet force flex. He didn't get very hyped about it, which was the weird thing. Oh, wait. He got very hyped about it.
Yeah, very hyped.
I love it.
Hey, so for the YouTube people, and we'll help you guys out on the audio, but we have on our desk, because yesterday we did a Dynamic Discs update with Jeremy Rusko, and we talked a little bit about new molds that are coming out for 2019. And in my hand, I have a Guard, which is a deep disc putter.
Yeah.
Feels pretty good.
Yeah, if you think of a dagger with no bead, it's going to feel really similar to a Guard.
I really want to try it out. So, but we have these here. We're going to start doing see if we can do some teasing out videos.
Yeah.
We have a Raider.
Let's get to that last.
We'll get to that last. We have a Westside Disc Gatekeeper, which is a mid-range, similar to an EMAC Truth.
Probably a little shorter, similar stability. I think people who like the EMAC Truth will also like the Gatekeeper for a little bit shorter shots, but similar torque resistance out of the box.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then we have the Vandal, which is what's speed 9?
Yeah, it'd be around a speed 9. Yeah.
So fairway driver.
Kind of like a longer Maverick, maybe.
I could see that. I threw it a couple times way back when we were in Finland, wasn't it?
At the
Toonie Open. And
the Toonie Open Classic.
I remember liking this particular one, so I'm anxious to get some more in and really throw this one around.
Yeah. Couple quick questions. Guard like an end of a birdie? No, the end of a birdie goes straight down on the side, like all the way flat. The Guard comes in kind of just like a regular beadless putter. How does the Gatekeeper compare to the Pine? The Pine's going to be more overstable, similar torque resistance, similar feel, but straight or flat out of the gatekeeper. It kind of just wants to go where you throw it. You throw it really flat, it's going to go straight. But then here's the last one.
How does the gatekeeper compare to the pine?
That's what I just said.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry. I was
That's okay.
my bad, dog. My bad.
But here's our last one. And this is the one I'm really excited about. This is the Raider. This is a high-speed, not super duper overstable, but pretty overstable distance driver. I think this is going to be less overstable than an enforcer, more overstable than a trespass. Kind of fit that sweet spot of a driver that you can cycle copies of. I'm super excited about this. Have we talked about when this is going to be released?
I can't remember if Jeremy brought it up or not.
I want to say these are going to be around GBO time if everything works out correctly. So as soon as we have those, you can guarantee that you'll see some videos from us and demonstrations and things like that.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Season's greetings.
Pierce, I am fairly new to... Oh, the guy's name's Pierce. I just don't randomly say Pierce. I'm fairly new to disc golf. I've been playing for about 7-8 months, and I have built up my bag to about 20 discs, all different discs.
Okay.
I see many pros and other people using 3 to 4 of the same disc. I'm wondering, why is this so? And also, what is your opinion on this topic?
Pierce, I feel like, I don't know if you've listened to the show before, but this is a topic that we cover quite often. And it's just a different philosophy for people. A lot of people will choose multiple discs of one mold and just beat them up and cycle them in because they're really familiar with that disc. Instead of saying, hey, brand new, this, trespass is slightly less overstable than this bio enforcer, which is slightly less overstable than this lucid enforcer, which is slightly less overstable than this stiletto, something like that. Instead of carrying 4 different discs, maybe you choose the one that you like the most and carry 4 copies of that and just work that in so that, your bio enforcer flies more like a lucid trespass. And you're familiar with that disc. And so I think that's why a lot of people choose one mold and multiple discs instead of having to, get new ones to fill that slot all the time.
Got it.
Yeah.
Next one comes from Garrett. So I was listening to episode 241 and someone asked about being in a wreck and getting back their form. I feel their pain. First of all, being in a bad head-on wreck a year and a half ago. So keep playing first of all. I can't imagine what I would do without disc golf after my wreck. My question following up their question about their question that they questioned. What is the best way to adjust or improve your form as I continue to get better and stronger physically? For example, video, field work, and open field or like a football field.
Good question. If you're working on improving your form, I don't think videoing yourself is ever going to be a bad idea.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you aren't really sure what you're looking for, everybody can look at a video of themselves and look at a video of a top pro and say, here are some things that look different, right? For most of us, that's a lot of things. But don't try and figure it out all at one time. Work on 1 or 2 things at a time. Work on pulling straight backwards and then not leading with your shoulders, but rather letting your elbow get to the spot where you've got these good 90 degrees and then you're throwing from there. Work on your footwork. Make sure that your steps aren't too long. They're not too short. There isn't too much variance in your height as you go. Stuff like that, you will be able to learn from video as you just compare it side by side to somebody. You can also ask for advice on our Facebook page, the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook page. And then Danny Lindahl, who works here, really enjoys doing that and reviewing people's forms. So you can check that out. Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Season's greetings. Eugene asked on YouTube, when will we see is this disc right for you for these new molds? Probably not until February.
Yeah, those would be Latitude molds will release in February.
Right, but because I'm thinking once we get them and then we won't do Latitude is this disc, right? But for ours,
right, March is our release date.
Okay, it'll be more like March.
March 1st. I'm just kidding. It's definitely not at the beginning of March. We'll get in trouble for saying that.
Please don't say it because people hold us to it.
Yep.
Chris asks, hey guys, this question is for Robert and Eric. Oh, Eric's not here.
Disclaimer, I speak for Eric.
I'm trying to correct form issues. When I take my final step, I managed to open my hips early so my toe is pointed forward. I can't seem to get the mindset to brace and hit
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, keeping my hips closed. I feel like I'm going to hurt my knee or something. Have any of you come across this issue? When you plant your foot, is it cognitive that you rotate, or is it just something that naturally happens? Thanks for answering. And happy Thanksgiving. Oh, to all of DD.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Chris, great question. I don't think it's cognitive. I think it's more natural when you brace to have your foot sideways, follow through, and as you do that, turn on your heel. I actually think maybe like you said, there's a better chance of you hurting your knee by it not being allowed to twist than by it twisting. The time that I hurt my knee, I had planted, and the reason that it was injured is that I planted in some mud, and so my body turned and my knee wasn't allowed to. Very, very, very rarely has it happened where I'm just on a tee box, my foot plants and I don't turn at all. But I do know if you're trying to get that perfect lateral motion that comes from the throw where you're pointed straight toward the tee box, your body is moving sideways and then you're releasing straight forward. Opening that front foot is going to kill your distance. It's going to kill the lines that you're able to produce with your reach back and follow through. And so it really is just getting that foot to, parallel with the front of the tee box or perpendicular to the way that you're throwing, and then drilling it so that it just becomes natural. Your body is sideways, your foot is sideways, then you throw and it opens up. I would work on it starting off with a standstill. You don't want to start with a run up or anything like that. You definitely want to start with a standstill and drill down the correct form and technique before really opening that up. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Season's greetings. Dennis asks, hey, I've been playing disc golf for a number of years, and though by no means talented, I've always been able to throw fairly far. I can comfortably,
me too.
I can comfortably hit 400 feet, and when all things go according to plan, can push the disc out over 450 feet.
Sweet.
My question is this: how important is it that during my X step, I'm right-handed, backhanded, my left foot be kept sideways? Mine often turns around, causing my hips to do the same. I've watched Danny's video. I'm paranoid that I've ruined my potential with bad form.
All right. Good question. What's this gentleman's name?
Oh, let's scroll down a bit. Dennis.
Thanks for your question, Dennis. I think
Merry Christmas, Dennis.
Hey, happy holidays, Dennis. I think that one of the things that Danny warns against, and that something that you see with newer players who are learning to throw, is that when they see an X step and they see people looking away from their target line, they assume that their whole body has to be turned away from the target line. And that's false. That's kind of where you see people who take backward steps in order to get to the throw. That's not what you want. You want your hips perpendicular to the front of the tee pad. You want your feet perpendicular to the front of the tee pad so that you can draw a line with your body, and that line should dictate where the disc goes. If you are turning your left foot backwards to get your hips backwards, if you're having to do a lot more work to get your hips back to where they need to be in order to throw the disc, as opposed to just keeping your feet perpendicular or parallel to the front of the tee pad if you're looking at the side of your foot, right? So what I would work on is slow everything down and see kind of why you're turning that left foot backwards. And if your hips can still get into position, not too bad. If they're starting way closed so that it's going to cause you to have to round to get everything back into position, you definitely don't want to do that. So I would do my best to, if the front of the tee pad, is where you're looking to throw from, you want the side of your foot to be parallel with the front of that tee pad. You want your body, the line that your body is pointing, to be perpendicular to that.
All right. This one has no name. It says, what's up, Disc Golf Answer Man fam? I have a question about tournament mindset. I just played a tournament at my home course and played the worst round I have ever played.
Dang it, man.
I usually shoot 1 to 3 under. It's a decently hard course. For some reason, I just choked. I missed putts well within my range, shanked a lot of drives, which never happens. I felt great going into it. To say the least, I was very disappointed. So I guess my question is, what are some things I can do to help with my mindset?
Nice.
That's another big question.
Thank you. Thank you, No Name. You see, in the grand scheme of life, there's a lot of mindset. This is a common problem, and I think it's something that even top guys and girls, professionals and amateurs alike, will deal with. is that you can go to a casual round and play the best golf of your life, be one of the best players in the whole world in your mind, and then go to a tournament and everything is different. Part of the beauty of disc golf is that it is really difficult to execute under pressure, especially mental pressure, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody else does on the course. It matters what you do. So some mental things that I would encourage you to work on is to not set any expectations about how you want to shoot that day score wise. When I go to a tournament, I throw all my practice shots, throw some practice putts, pick the places in the fairway that I want to be and that I don't want to be, find the mistakes that I don't want to make, and then just go throw. And whatever score I end up with, that's good. But if I say in my practice round, I shoot a 10 under, then I'm expecting to shoot a 10 under at the tournament. Well, what if I go out and shoot a 6? I'm going to be really disappointed with it, or a 5, or let's say I play really awful and, shoot a 1 or even over par. You're way more disappointed in that if you had those high expectations. And part of having those high expectations means that you might be more prone to press during the round. So if you miss a birdie on a hole that you normally birdie, then you're like, oh, okay, well, I got to get this birdie on this hole that I normally don't, or I have to push for birdie on this hole that bogey is actually a good score for me on. So one thing is to not set too high of expectations. Another is I try to not think about my score at all while I'm playing. I throw a shot, go to the next shot, throw a shot, go to the next shot, and then just count them up at the end. I think that helps to keep a little bit better mindset. And then let me think, what else would I do? I've read some golf mental game books that I really like a lot. Dr. Gio Valiante is a great author. Valiante. He's written Fearless Golf and Golf Flow. I think those are both great books. Dr. Bob Rotella has written Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. I think that's a really good one as well. If you're serious about working on your mental game, those helped me to make really big strides because it allows you to narrow your focus instead of worrying about what's going on for the whole round. So anyway,
excellent.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Do you like the microphone like this or where it's up high?
I'll try it.
I feel like I should be on a radio show.
Yeah.
Next up on the top 40.
Sorry.
This one's from Judd. I've been playing for a little while now, but I just recently started listening to you guys, and it's pretty helpful.
Sweet.
Anyway, I like to think that I have decent form as I can throw around 430 feet with reasonable control.
Good.
Recently, however, I've started trying to throw putters more and have noticed that I tend to put a lot of off-axis torque on them whenever I throw over 150 to 200 feet. Do you guys have any advice or ideas about what might be causing this or how to fix it?
Great question, Judd. This is something that I think a lot of players will run into when they are at the intermediate advanced level, is that they are great with drivers, but not great with slower discs. Part of the reason for that is that drivers in general can mask some of your form flaws because they will fight out of that torque faster than something like a putter will. I don't know the physics behind that. I don't know the reason for that, but I do know that if I throw something like a Ballista Pro poorly and it kind of torques a little bit to the right, a lot of times I can still get some sort of flight out of it. If I throw something like a Warden pretty poorly and it torques to the right, or any putter actually, it just wants to dive right. So learning on distance drivers like that can really mask some issues in your form. What I would do is when you're out in the field next time, when you're practicing, slow everything down and ensure that, because one of the reasons that you might have an off-axis torque is that your angle at reach back may not be matching your angle at release and your angle of follow through. If you're trying to throw a Hyzer, you want to reach the disc back on Hyzer, let it go on Hyzer, and then follow through on Hyzer, which means that your arm is actually going to reach down on your reach back. At impact, you're going to be moving up, and then your follow through is going to be up as well if you're throwing a Hyzer. If you're throwing flat, the same is true. You reach back flat, let it go flat, follow through straight out in front of you. Off-axis torque is generally caused when those angles don't match. So that's what you want to work on. And slower disc will help you, I guess, decipher maybe why you're doing that, or it'll help you to figure out which angle is wrong, because they really magnify form issues like that.
Next one comes from Art.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Jay, season greetings. I recently played around and players threw and a player's throw came to rest in an OB street. And after a few minutes, it was ran over by a vehicle, flipping it back inbounds.
Nice.
He claimed that there is no penalty stroke since it was knocked back inbounds. Is this the correct play since it already came to complete rest before being hit? Also, if the disc was still rolling and then knocked back inbounds before it came to rest, would that be considered interference in OB, or would it be considered inbounds? If it's rolling, and it rolls out of bounds and then slowly rolls in and just falls and slowly just go, it's inbounds.
Yep.
Because that's where it came to rest.
Yep.
Now, the interesting change up there with the car, what say you, Robert?
So, this is Rule 805.01, establishing a position. Rule A says a thrown disc establishes a position where it first comes to rest. A thrown disc is considered to be at rest when it first stops moving. A disc in water or foliage is considered to be at rest when it is moving only as a result of movement of the water, the foliage, or the wind. So if you throw a disc up in a tree and it's very windy out that day and it's moving around in the branches, that disc would have come to rest because it's really only being pushed around by the wind or the tree. In something like you're talking about, the disc came to rest in the middle of the road when it got run over. First of all, super favorable for that guy. Like if you're playing casual, I'm arguing to the death with the guys I'm playing with that's inbounds. Not really, but still. In a tournament, no, that disc has already come to rest. That's an OB stroke where it went out of bounds. If the disc is rolling on that street and it hits a car or hits a person, or it honestly doesn't matter, it hasn't come to rest, so that would be considered inbounds.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, one more rules question, and then we'll call it a show. This one is from Anonymous. During a B tier this summer, a player got warned before the round not to drink alcohol. After lunch, he said that he had 8 beers during lunch. On the second to the last hole, 2 of us saw him drink down a mini bottle of alcohol. We did not call him on it because we were worried about his reaction. At the end of the round, we reported it to the TD and even had his mini bottle as evidence. But nothing was done because we did not call him on it. Should we have called him out? What should the TD have done?
Gosh, that sucks, man. It is the TD's responsibility to enforce the rules of the tournament. If more than one person on the card said that this guy was drinking and you have the bottle that he was drinking, I think it would be the TD's responsibility to disqualify that player.
Yeah.
I can definitely understand being cautious of approaching someone who had 8 beers during lunch about an alcohol related thing during the round.
Right.
But if you want to guarantee that there won't be any mixed stories, then you could say to that person, hey, we just watched you drink that. It's our duty, because the rules of the PDGA, that we have to tell the tournament director that you were drinking during the round. I promise he would not say anything about it at that point. You know, there would have to be like, he's going to try to defend himself. And then you definitely have something to take to the TD that says, hey, this guy was drinking.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that the TD didn't do what they were supposed to do, but you did what you were supposed to do.
Excellent. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this particular
Merry Christmas.
episode. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Season greetings. This is episode 246. Again, we're going to see you in a couple weeks. It'll be a couple weeks.
Yeah, January 2nd.
January 2nd. So we, in all seriousness, we do want to wish you guys happy holidays, and hopefully you're able to spend a lot of time with family and friends and enjoy the holidays.
Right. Next time we're here, we'll have all new stuff to share with you.
All new stuff.
Maybe not, but we'll try our best though.
We'll see you.